with another Nerdly Out Loud. I'm pretty much doing a speed dating thing here where I'm just getting people in one after the other, and I am with the creators of a short movie called Fire Ants. Do me a favour, let people know who you are and what you did on this movie.
Hi, I am Katerina Philippou-Curtis, and I am the writer, director, and editor of Fire Ants. Well, I had to. It's a COVID film, so.
Yeah. And yourself?
I'm Paul Curtis. I shot it, did the visual effects, grading, sound, and she also forgot to say she's actually starring in it as well.
Oh, we always leave that there.
Yeah, leave that.
Well, I really want to talk about the visuals in a second, but first of all, we'll start with how did you guys get together to make this movie, and why during lockdown would you try and make a short?
Well, it helps that we're married.
That helps.
So we were in a house and lockdown happened, and it was a question of what do we do? We just wait it out, or do we, true to our restlessness and our creativity, do we do something different, like a film, like a home video, that we could just look down 10 years from now and be proud of, and involve our kids as well. So it was sort of like an organic development from the idea to the execution.
And what's your background in filmmaking? Like, how did you get into it?
Oh, I have nearly 28 to 30 years experience
Nice.
in filmmaking, from loads of shorts, and I've done. You've done. Yeah, the second one. I've written, directed 2 feature films. Second one with Paul, called Marriage, and lots of theatre. So as a writer-director, I've been involved in theatre. So I worked in America, I worked in Europe. I'm originally from Greece, so since I remember, I've always been writing.
Just always writing, but now you're gonna.
And directing since 1997,
Nice.
which was the Greek Film Centre funded my first feature. And I've been directing since then.
And you've been in the industry for a while, or did you just get told you're making this movie?
I grew up working in Soho in the 90s, so I worked on features like Lost in Space and Pitch Black and things, doing visual effects work, so I've always had my hand in it since then. It sort of excused the mainstream, went indie, and we've generally done our projects together.
So, due to the lockdown and due to the pandemic, coming out the other side of it, we have received a lot of lockdown movies, pandemic movies, but it's usually like one guy sitting in front of his Zoom camera talking to someone else somewhere else. And you guys went for a bit of a post-apocalyptic kind of vibe. Why?
I think when we were talking about it, we just felt that wouldn't it be interesting to explore where things could go? And we wanted to do something that involved the kids, and we really just did it for ourselves to start with. Just something that we could look back on and remember the times. And I mean, Kat posted on Facebook, we thought about expanding it and seeing what other kids might want to be involved. And she got hundreds of replies from all around the world. And so at that point we thought, well, what should we do? Should we try and make it something a little bit bigger, which is really the direction we went in. So it sort of morphed from, it's effectively a home movie really, morphed into something quite a bit bigger. I mean, I'm not doing it a disservice, it's
No.
the work that's done in there, but yeah, that's really the background.
It's kind of like the Cloverfield of pandemic movies, if you will.
Yeah, I mean,
the world outside is scarier than. Yeah.
You know, we had to do a lot over Zoom, and it was a question of how can we do that in a way that isn't what most people are having to do.
And how did you do that? Because I keep hearing about like these people who filmmakers that was doing the casting and table reads and rehearsals and everything over Zoom. How does that actually work?
Well, the kids had a specific role to play, so it was. I was very specific what I wanted from them. So I was showing them what the movements would be like over FaceTime. So they had that in mind, and then I told them to basically improvise and explain the situation that you're going into your lockdown city and you're trying to set fire to something and you want to write something. So I was very specific over Zoom. They were brilliant, you know, they were really into it, and they've done a lot more. And also the parents one of the fathers says, I have a police uniform. Do you want me to wear it? I said, yes. Can you beat up your child? Oh, yes, yes.
Can
So
you
they
beat up
had-
your child?
Yeah, so we had.
Why did he have a police uniform?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, that's a different situation.
That's a different
It's a
audience.
different audience, yeah. But they're amazing. The parents really egged the child on, and so they had this sort of collaborative effort of driving in the center of lockdown cities beyond curfew sometimes, which was interesting. And yeah, and being it a lot in it. So that made my job easy, but they had clear instructions as well.
There's also Jane.
Yeah, and then we had proper actors, which they really loved being involved. So we prepared a lot, we did a lot of rehearsals, and then we zoomed it.
You always hear the the old filmmaking story that you should never work with kids and animals and whatnot, but this is a kid's dream is what you're doing here, because the way they get to act and the way they get to be. How many, when you put the call out, how many tapes did you get back, or how many videos? Or
Gosh, we had, I put the call out, I wanted specifically 2-3 kids. So I specified I want this, this, and this, and then we had this within a week, because it wasn't all at once, but word of mouth, I think it spread, and within the week we had up to 100 maybe, quite a lot.
and how do you go about whittling that down?
Very difficult.
Yeah.
I didn't want to break anybody's heart, and it was very difficult to edit the kids out, because he was getting into like a feature too much, and it was repetitive. So I had to find the kids that represented each continent and each city. So I had, for example, 5 from Australia, and I had to use 1, and whoever is more clearly, whoever matches, a selection of diverse kids. So they had to be, tried out.
Sadly. So going from a group of kids who are making your videos to being an adult who gets to do kids things and make things explode and look amazing, how did you go around doing that in a Zoom style story? Like, because some of your shots are pretty epic.
Thank you. I mean, some of the visual effects shots are based on reconstructions using photos and some stock footage, and so on top of that, then we did, the volumetrics, the smoke, all the things that we needed. So that was just at home. We didn't need to zoom. It was just everything. I mean, the whole thing was done at home. I mean, that's what we do. So that's the one advantage we had, is that if we're going to do something during lockdown, it's all the things that we do normally.
No crew.
No crew. So it's just us in the house with the kids.
No money.
And so, Rafi would sometimes be in front of the camera, and sometimes he'd be holding a boom, I'll say behind the camera, but in the right place.
Yeah.
And they got to experience different aspects of filmmaking as well. But yeah, it was just us putting together, doing stuff, which was very enjoyable.
Both boys, all of us, we tripled in terms of the job. I mean,
It was a funny scene because I had to play the mother, and as you know, the mother was really depressed. I'm not an actress, and I hated it. So I was sitting there, and I was like, but I'm a control freak, I need to see the frame. But I also had to be in the zone and represent the depression of the mother. But it was one eye was, so we had the camera literally under a cushion. So when I was looking down, as with my super amazing acting of being depressed, which is chilling, I was actually looking at the framing. So I had to go like this with my hand higher and lower, and it was absolutely, it was ridiculously funny, but that was how it had to be done.
I hate to tell you what I did during lockdown, because it wasn't making a movie. Like, I just kind of did nothing. But so you've got like the whole family is involved here. That's awesome. That's a cool story, and to then see the final product up on the big screen, that, like, how does that feel?
It felt great. It's the first time we saw it on the big screen.
Today?
Yes.
Oh man, that's even better.
So it was literally towards the part where the kids come. That was quite, sort of felt it. I felt that moment.
And did you bring the young filmmakers with you to watch it, or?
I didn't, because they were at school.
Oh.
And those in England, those here in London, they're actually on exams or some GCSE.
Oh.
So they were like, I'm really sorry. I've
Just
sent them a
had 2
link
days
though.
off. Give them a day off.
Exactly.
I do have to say, like, I am grateful that you guys gave us this movie. We've been getting lots of lockdown movies, and they're not you know, some of them are very generic and very much the same. But this year we've had 4 or 5 that were all very, very different. And your movie sits in that bracket, so it's good to get. But I'm going to ask you a question that all filmmakers hate. Because if you ask somebody what they like about a movie or what worked about the movie, what they're proud about the movie, they just tell you everything that was wrong with it. So, what are you proudest of this movie?
Visual effects.
Not your acting?
Not my acting. My son's acting. I'm quite proud of Rafi's acting. Very, very proud of the snow scene. There are some things that I really love because when it snowed, I went like a crazy woman, like, quick, grab the camera, it's snowing, I know exactly how I'm going to edit that. So the glimpses which, you know, obviously the kids, I disassociate myself seeing myself, I see the mother, I don't see myself. But yeah, I think the visual effects elevated and give you that extra punch that without it, it would have been a home video. But I think visual effects and towards the ending as well, how they intercat the whole story. I think that is something that I'm quite proud of.
All came together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I mean, from the visual effects side, nothing's ever finished. It's just abandoned at a certain point. So I look at that, you know, I appreciate all the comments, but all I see is the problems. I think the thing that was proud is the fact that we just did it. You know, the fact that everybody was involved. You know, eldest who's, you know, back at university now, youngest. The neighbours were involved. You know, at a distance. We had one day where we did a socially distant shoot, so we could actually. We're all on long lenses. We had wireless follow focus, so we actually managed to get people together during lockdown outside, which is lovely. And I think that it helped quite a lot of people in the same way that it helped us. You know, whether it's the actors who are sitting at home getting frustrated, or whether it's the kids doing something. I think it gave everybody something to actually do and to feel proud to be part of. And I think that's the best thing about it.
So you're in the festivals. This is like the first day you've had your big screen first time. What happens next with Fire Ants? Are we hitting more festivals, and then what happens past that with this show?
Well, there was a thought to write a TV series and expand it, and use the kids sort of all around the world getting together and ask the question, what matters for a future? The way things are going, whether it's climate change or whether it's pandemics or whether it's wars. It's almost like the kids create a revolution that they just want to get some answers from governments that, you know, in your quest for breed and wealth, don't ignore us. And I think up to a point, there is a mini TV series somewhere there. Edited down, it could be like a little teaser for something. But there are these thoughts that might work. Somebody suggested that would be a very good TV series if you expand it.
I think it would be, because coming out the other side, we kind of the pandemic, we kind of have taken stock of what is, you know, people are now working from home more than they ever did, and we're figuring out that we can change the way we've been. You know, it's fantastic because we are getting there. So I think you've got a point there. I think that could work.
Yeah, something in the future with the kids. Their future, their rules, something.
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies. Something. But something to shake a little bit the status quo in terms of, you know, at the moment we don't have the kids ahead of us. We just do a lot of talking, but...
I like that. I like that. Go for it. Go for it. And other than that, what's next for you guys? Are you working on anything you can talk about?
Yeah, we are doing at the moment. We are doing 2 projects on development. One is with LS Productions, which is a Scottish production house, and we paired with 2 producers, Paul Zahn and Nicola Black, and they're BAFTA winning producers. And we're doing a documentary on growth hormone deficiency and the fact that there's a lot of children out there, especially boys, that suffer from this medical condition, which is growth hormone deficiency, and they are short. So they're not dwarfs, they're short, and they will grow up eventually, but they get a lot. So we want to highlight and raise awareness of this condition, and also to to try to make height a protected characteristic. So all the little short boys that start and girls that start year 7 don't get it as bad as other kids do. So that's a mission, and we're in the development stage of that. And on the other hand, we've got a TV series called Bold with Hugh Quashie and Jane Asher and Joanna Lumley and Simon Callow, and they've all agreed to be part of it. So that's probably going to take years to come to fruition, but there are tender steps happening towards that. So a TV series and documentaries are probably the next passions.
So it's basically old people being very bad.
Yes, exactly.
It's a perfect cast for it,
yeah.
Jane Asher.
Yeah, they're correcting the young.
So do me a favour and let the people know where they can find you guys, where they can find your projects, and where they can find Fire Ants.
Okay, they can find Fire Ants by magic. Well, they can come to our website to see the trailers. Eventually, we will upload the link.
Yeah.
So if they're interested, they can come to www.inventum.com. I know I need to spell that.
I'll put all the links and everything.
Okay, so he'll put the links
Yeah,
there.
it's not a problem.
And yeah, and that's where all our projects are. That's all our trailers, all our past films, and it's a production company, so everything's on there.
Cool. Well, I have to say thank you for submitting the movie to Romford, giving us the chance to show it up on the big screen, and thanks for coming today to see it. It's been awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you very much as well.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.